All right, are you ready for my really cheesy intro?
Yes, go for it. It's
It's
the like something if you're interested and if you're not, we're here anyway.
yeah, it's
That
the
yeah.
podcast that talks about things that parents want to know, and even if not, we're here anyways.
Anyway, welcome to Parenting for Thought. This is our intro.
This is the cold open I'm going to use, by the way.
Excellent.
Welcome
Perfect.
to Parenting for Thought. I've been great.
Welcome to Parenting for Thought, where two childless adults talk about tell you how you should parent.
Welcome to Parenting for Thought, where things get a little unhinged.
Welcome to Parenting for Thought. Okay, go.
Welcome to Parenting for Thought, the podcast that is still working to find its best cheesy intro. I've got Al Hoberman with me here today. Al and I have a really funny story about how we met,
Mhm.
and it was once again through the magic of Magnus. If you don't yet know who Magnus is, I call him my day
Just listen
job.
to every other episode.
Just listen to every other episode. I call him my day job. He's the reason I can pay rent. And he is also known as the light of my life. But yeah, so I just picked up Magnus from his daycare and we went to a little playground nearby. And there was a person walking their dog on a pretty long leash. And I like to teach Magnus about dog safety because that's important. And I was telling him, okay, we're going to give this dog some space because we don't want to scare the dog. And, we don't want the dog to think that we're going to hurt it. So we're just going to give it some space. Al heard us talking. And I don't even remember what you responded with, but you just responded really positively and in a flawless American English accent. And the way you responded kind of clued me in that you knew a thing or two about emotional intelligence. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to let this go. I'm going to keep asking questions. And now here we are on a podcast together.
Well, and it goes even further than that because the reason I said something was because I heard you talking in your flawless American accent, but not even just that. It was the like, oh, this person is trained to work with kids voice, you know.
Yes.
The like, I am on the job right now and being clear and emotionally forward with this child. It's like, oh, this is the kind of person I want to get to know.
My green flag saw your green flag and
And met in the middle.
and now we have a friendship flag.
It's true.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. So this is us flying our friendship flag for all the world to see. All four of my listeners. And yeah, but the cool thing about Al is that he is a music therapist. And
Mhm.
even after knowing Al for a while, I'm still not sure that I understand what that means. So, Al, can you introduce yourself and tell us what it is that you do so that I don't think that it means that I have to take that tambourine off your wall and shake it to have therapy?
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a good question. It's the hardest question, but also the best one because really there is no one music therapy. It's um actually so like the official definition of what music therapy is, from the association's website, right, is that it's this clinical and evidence-based use of music interventions to accomplish individualized goals, by a credentialed professional who has completed a program. Like, it's this very like official and sterile definition, but it's also totally general. It's like using music to help someone accomplish their goals,
I mean, I do
which
that every time I open Spotify.
yeah, well, and that's kind of the thing, is that there was someone in our field named Clive Robbins who would say music therapy works in the way that music works. So it's not that we're like inventing something new or we have ownership over using music to help someone or heal, but that we're really good at helping people harness what music does anyway, which
Mm. Mhm.
exactly every single one of us has a relationship to music. We're human beings. Humans are musical beings. So,
Music
yeah.
predates language.
Mhm. Mhm.
I mean,
There's
you could also just simply say that music was our first language.
yeah. There's even a theory, there's not so much evidence for it, but a theory that just like humans and apes have a common ancestor, music and language kind of also like had a divergent evolution. Like there was in the beginning there was just this like music speak thing that differentiated, which I think is really cool.
That is.
But yeah,
It's nice to think
mhm,
about, right?
right?
Like, I like to think about our ancestors who had more time for
Yeah.
for creating, and I like to think
Mhm.
about, and maybe this is really cheesy, I don't know, but I like to think about the gatherings, like the village gatherings around the
Yeah.
bonfire and the sharing of
Yeah.
stories and like the oral traditions.
Mhm.
And those were very
And
musical.
oh yeah. It's not even that they were making time for music, it's that music is part of the fabric of
Mm,
daily life. You know, people collaborating to chop down a large tree together or singing to have a common rhythm, to swing their axes at the same
yes.
time. Or, I'm, not pro-military in any way, but a drum is used to create a rhythm for a parade or for soldiers marching or women
Mhm.
singing um, in their traditional role of, preparing food or whatever it
Yeah.
might be to coordinate to bring flow to the workday.
Yes.
Um,
Also, to communicate things that were happening, to share
yeah.
information.
Hmm. Yeah.
Gosh, we
How
could
many?
get in the
Yeah.
weeds on that. Yeah, so that's another conversation. That's the part 2
Yeah.
already right in
Fair.
itself. So
But in a
sorry.
way, we've actually just named a whole bunch of ways that music therapy works. So, music therapy helps provide someone rhythm to move more fluidly. For instance, if they've had a stroke uh, and are rehabilitating, music helps give prosody, gives flow to language for someone who might have aphasia. Um,
Whoa.
Music helps connect people culturally and identity wise um, when they're feeling isolated
Mhm.
or even isolated from themselves, right? So again, it's music therapy works in all the ways that music works, and because of that, as many kinds of people there are in the world, that's how many different music therapies there are. So
Mhm.
I named a
Mhm.
couple of kind of populations where music therapy is used, for instance, in hospitals or for young children with developmental disabilities, um, where music could be used in a kind of really functional way, like with helping someone relearn to walk or to learn to speak or communicate for the first time.
Mhm.
But then what I do, I'm a music psychotherapist, which is yet another branch, which is much more like what we think of as psychotherapy, and that could be with children or with adults, but working on emotional problems, challenges of life, mental health issues, trauma. Um, and so there, music is working kind of what you alluded to earlier, like building a relationship to music, what
Mhm.
just like you do with your Spotify playlist. You know, can I build a playlist where it starts with the mood that I'm at, and over time gets me to where I want to feel, right?
Oh my
Uh,
gosh. This is making me think about, so
mhm,
I don't think I've publicly talked about this just yet. Maybe I have, I can't remember now. But in 2020, I was diagnosed with uterine cancer.
mm,
And 0 stars, do not recommend, especially in the middle of a pandemic. It was a nightmare. Um, but I will say I was very lucky. We caught it very, very early. very happy about that. And the answer was to simply have my uterus removed, so a total hysterectomy.
Mm,
And this is my first surgery. And I'm sitting
wow.
there going, I had had a DNC just prior to
Yeah.
that, which led to the discovery of the cancer. But that's a very small potatoes.
Yeah.
They put you under. So it was my first time being under, but it wasn't like a proper surgery. The hysterectomy was a proper surgery. And I was shit scared. I was out of my head with fear because there's so many unknowns, and there's so many
Yeah.
reasons to be afraid, and it's just really valid to be afraid.
Yeah.
My playlist was like 4 songs, and I
Yeah.
listened to those suckers on repeat while pacing the halls of the hospital, pumping myself up, waiting for them to come with the
Amen.
gurney and say, "It's time." And I
Oh,
was
yeah.
just like, "Oh, let's go, let's go, let's go."
So
And
can I ask?
yeah,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, that's it. That's my story.
Yeah.
But that was music therapy in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it is. It's using music therapeutically.
Yes.
Absolutely. I was gonna ask, was the music like, was it to pump you up and energize you? Was it meeting you in that scared place? Like, how did you choose that music? If you don't
Yeah,
mind
no,
sharing.
I'm delighted to share. It was 100% both.
Yeah.
And so I can tell you the songs, and
Mm,
it might make you laugh. And on surface level, it is a little bit funny because the songs were all musical numbers from
yeah.
either Frozen or Wicked, which
Yeah.
also means that they were all by Idina Menzel. And like Idina, if by
Mm,
some reason you hear this, you literally got me through my cancer surgery. God bless you.
yeah. Yeah.
I love Idina Menzel since she was in Rent. Anyways,
I mean, most powerful voice on the planet right now, I think.
seriously, she's incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely, just
It's amazing.
such an icon. So, the words, the lyrics of Defying
Yeah.
Gravity, and the
Yeah.
weight of that
Mhm.
performance were totally uplifting, but without being, I don't even know if how I can describe this. It wasn't up here. It was like
Yeah.
deep, like
Like,
guttural,
yeah.
like
In your
beefy.
body, in your bones.
Yes,
Yeah.
in my bones, in my body
Mhm.
where the bad thing was happening. And then the
Yeah.
other songs were from Frozen 2,
Yeah.
where Elsa is talking about going into the unknown. And she's
Mm.
being really brave and she's scared. So it was
Yeah.
tapping into all of those places
Yeah.
while listening to a voice that I loved and thinking about the person who is singing it who I really respect and
Mhm.
and like what she puts out there in the world and what she represents and the characters that she represents. I love those
Yeah.
characters. So it was
Mhm.
all of these really positive but raw
Yeah.
and authentic things, and I was feeling all of that, and
Yeah.
it kept me grounded but pumped
Mm.
but also centered, so it tapped into every one of those places, and it's one of the most
Yeah.
powerful things in my memory about that time.
I believe it. Yeah. How amazing. And thanks for sharing. I
Yeah.
it it's so amazing how music can hold so many seemingly disparate things all at once. Like there is actually space for everything, which is something that we don't do so easily in speech, right? In our like
No.
daily kind of cognitive brain ways, we can feel a lot of dissonance. So we can struggle to, you know, to be pulled in different directions. And music makes space for all of that.
I also like to think about that for every song you hear,
Mhm.
it's a real person behind that, right? It's
Mhm.
a real person who wrote those lyrics, who wrote a story,
Mhm.
who put tones together to
Mhm.
create an experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
And whatever experience the listener has is valid. If they hate
Yeah.
it, if they love it, if they're meh, whatever,
Yeah.
that's a valid and real experience.
Mhm. Yeah, and it may be what the writer was thinking, it may be totally different. And for that person, listening to that same song may mean something totally different on
Mm.
2 different days. It might bring
Totally.
them somewhere else.
Totally. Well,
Yeah.
thinking back to my surgery time, when
Mm.
I hear those songs now, they're so
Mhm.
emotionally charged that if
Yeah.
I'm not in the right space, I cannot listen to them.
Mhm.
I have to
Mhm.
have the full it's either the full spirit experience or none at all.
Music is powerful, and
Very.
it's not only benign. Like like any powerful substance, it needs our respect and our care too sometimes.
Whoa. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's tie this in with families. So for a family who every day being alive is already fraught with its own whatevers. And then you
Mhm.
add children into the mix. And then,
Mhm.
if it's a married couple, you've got that relationship. And then there's the
Yep.
in laws. And then there's work. And there's all this
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
How can
Well,
parents take some of this and apply this in their daily lives? What does that look like?
yeah, maybe there's some important kind of ways to think about it because we've alluded to this too. There's music therapy, which is something you do with a therapist in a structured way, and then there's using music therapeutically, which like there's all sorts of ways to have really therapeutic, helpful experiences that isn't big capital T therapy, and that's fine.
Mhm.
So there may be times when what you want is to go to a therapist and work on a specific problem, but in day-to-day life, well, so I come up from a singing family, right? We There's just a culture of music, and we sang in the car, and we sang. There's all sorts of songs that we all know. I have a
That's adorable.
I can't remember what I did yesterday, but there are a lot of songs in there, right? Um, and what that did was, I mean, a lot of things. There's a shared sense of identity. There's fun to be had together. Just playfulness, right? There's even roles to play. Like, as I, you know, started becoming a musician and playing guitar, then, I took on this role of being the musical accompaniment. So there's ways that a family can kind of organize around music. Um, but it
Look at the
also
Partridge Family.
Yeah, I mean, and it doesn't have to be about singing beautifully, right?
Right.
Uh, it's actually really about shared enjoyment. We know, of course, with little kids, singing is such a part of how they learn and play, and we sing songs to them in the bath, and we sing songs, to pass the time, but also kind of like action songs, like uh, when I was working in preschools as a music therapist, taking the kids from one classroom into the music room, we'd sing, "Can you follow? Can you follow? Can you come and follow me? Can you follow?" And everyone's walking to this rhythm, and they're following because the words have action and playfulness and rhythm rather than just, okay, everybody line up and
100%. I'm
yeah,
I'm sitting here thinking back to my own childhood, which I have spoke publicly about, wasn't that great.
yeah,
But there are key things that were great, and one of those
yeah,
is music. And I can
yeah,
hear so clearly in my head right now my mother singing, "This is
yeah.
the way we wash our hair,
Sure.
wash our hair, wash
Yep,
our hair." And I do that with kids that I work
absolutely.
with now. That
Absolutely.
thread has carried on, and I'm quite sure
Yeah.
she picked that up from somewhere,
I
probably
knew that one
her.
too.
You did?
Yeah.
Did it just
Oh,
go all
yeah.
around America?
At least,
Oh
yeah.
my
Yeah.
gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah, there are these kind of, I mean, there's the nursery rhymes that we know, but there are these, like, these action songs that are also, like, baked into our DNA practically,
100%. I feel
right?
like that
Yeah,
song is like a warm hug for me.
absolutely, absolutely. Because in that time, it helped you organize yourself as a child
Yeah.
who had to, whatever it was, stop what they were doing and then go wash their hands and transition to something else, or maybe potty training or whatever it was. You were
I was learning a new
being
skill.
manipulated. Yeah, you
Yeah.
were learning a new
I
skill.
was learning a
Not
new skill.
manipulated in an emotional way, but you
Yes.
were being moved
Yes.
around. You didn't have full agency because you were a kid and you needed help, right?
Yes.
For totally legit reasons. And so the
Mhm.
music helped you navigate that in some way. It gave order and meaning,
It totally did. The
right?
thing, so me being the behavior specialist that I am,
Yeah,
right? I'm thinking about how it was that moment of connection between me
yeah.
and my caregiver, how my caregiver was, it's not that she was like, oh, let's get this done and over with and scrubbing
Hmm.
me and rinsing me off and
Hmm.
throwing me out of the bath. Even if the
Yeah.
bath only took as much time as that song took, it
Hmm.
made it a beautiful time. It
Yeah.
made it that engagement, that moment of connection. And I
Hmm.
have that soft memory, even
Yeah.
while most of my childhood was not soft.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
And yeah. So you have that resource, that resilience built into you, that there can be softness even when things are hard, right? And that's something that music helped instill in you,
Listeners,
help
I
build
didn't
in your worldview.
I didn't know we were going to have an on-air therapy session today.
Well, then why'd you invite a therapist to your podcast?
But here we are
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
a real live demonstration of
Yeah.
the power that we're not even talking about produced music. We're
Yeah.
talking about what comes from your heart and soul in your
Hmm.
home in the busy moments.
Yes. Yes. So studies have been done that when two or more people sing together in a room, that both of their oxytocin levels rise. And oxytocin is if for those who may not know, is the hormone in the body that is all about love and connection and bonding. So actually, singing with another person is similar chemically to falling in love.
This is so okay, I have a friend who I've if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen her come up because I share a lot of her stuff because I love what she does. Her name is Hanna Maria Tuomela, and
Mhm.
she is a Finnish singer, songwriter, composer. And we were fortunate enough to meet in this lifetime and be able to create music together. And when I tell
Yes.
you that the experience of creating that with somebody, it taps into that soul place,
Mhm. Mhm.
and it feels, I don't know how else to say it, but it feels godlike. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
And then
do.
hearing, like, I mean, obviously there's good hormones and neurotransmitters
Mhm.
and things happening there, but I didn't even know about the oxytocin piece.
Yeah.
And now hearing that, and I'm going, no wonder. And like, look at
Yes.
choirs worldwide. Those people
Yeah.
are bonded. Look
Mhm.
at bands. Look at what
Mhm.
Fleetwood Mac went through. Okay. Like,
Yep.
best example.
Yep. Absolutely.
These people were
Mhm.
bonded
Yeah.
and also broken. And like
Mhm.
they went through big time emotional stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. There's such a capacity to have an experience of health in music, even when other things are not healthy, are not okay in big ways,
Amazing.
right?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Do you know, I asked you this question and then we went
Yeah.
down this amazing rabbit hole, which was worth
Yes.
every second of our time. So you did cover how can a parent use music with their child and what kind of an
Yeah.
impact that can have. What about a parent who, like, I'm thinking specifically about moms
Yeah.
who typically are bearing the bulk
Hmm.
of the burden.
Hmm.
And they're
Hmm.
tired, and when it comes time for them to give back to themselves, it's like, "Okay,
Yeah.
glass of wine, trash TV, and bed."
Yeah. So what can moms do for themselves? What can that
Yes.
just spent parent do? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, in some ways, I think that music therapy, well, in a lot of ways, I think that music therapist is not a great term because it's so general, but also what we are music and sound therapists. Because sound, there's not really a clear boundary between music and sound. And one of the first things I think about with your question is like, what's your sound environment been like all day? And what is
Oh,
that, right?
whoa. Wow. I
Yeah.
love therapists.
And
They'll take the most
yeah.
simple freaking thing and then hold up the mirror, and then suddenly you're like, "Whoa, the world has been revealed to me. I wasn't expecting that."
I hope that's a compliment.
Yes, 100%. It seems
Yeah.
like the most obvious thing in the
Yeah.
world, but until somebody points it out to you and holds up that mirror, you're like, "Well, why would I think of that?" Yeah,
Yeah.
there's sound environment. Amazing.
Right.
Sorry to interrupt. Continue, please.
No, no, of course. Well, yeah, so once you start thinking that way, like what is the sensory input and not just sound, by the way, right? Visual, tactile. Like how many parents do you know who have talked about like at the end of the day, I'm just so touched out. Like I've had kids needing my attention and my physical presence all day. So really beyond just sound, what is your sensory environment been all day? And what does your whole sensory system need right now? And so bringing it specifically to music, can I go inside and take like really 20 seconds to just say, okay, where is my body at? Like, am I buzzing from stimulation and am I just beat and worn down? And what would be helpful in that moment? Like, what kind of sound could I imagine would be a really good and helpful environment for me in that moment? So instead of like, what's my favorite song? What should I listen to? Like, can I imagine what would feel good? And then maybe go and search for that. There's a chat GPT song picker these days. You can type in, I'm looking uh for this kind of music to listen to, that has these qualities, and then see how it feels and take time to just listen, right?
This is
You can add to that
bonkers.
if you
This is
yeah,
I cannot get over the simplicity of that.
yeah,
This is so actionable. This is
yeah.
so on a silver platter. This is something that I will forever take with me and share with my clients
Awesome. Yeah.
because
Because this is yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, but and I say this all the time, by the time that parents are coming to work with me, it's
Yeah,
because things are not going well. They are
of course.
struggling, things are hard.
Mm,
They are at their wits' end and they don't know where else to go. They
yeah,
have typically tried all of their tips and tricks and the tools
of
that they've
course.
heard from their friends and their friends parents and
Hmm.
the your grandma's church group.
Hmm.
And then they
Hmm.
find me,
Yeah,
and to be able to say, because it's so hard for me to say, what are you doing for yourself, like, other than
yeah,
maybe going to therapy.
yeah,
It's so hard.
yeah.
And but to give them this kind of a resource is such a gift.
Yeah. And to be clear, I'm not talking about like you have to turn the lights off and light a candle and spend 20 minutes. That's great. And there's a
True.
way to go even deeper that way. But I'm talking about like while you're pouring that glass of wine, even if,
Yes.
in the 10 minutes you have as you go to sleep, take some time, or while you're walking to the grocery store or driving or whatever it is, you know, you don't have to take extra time out of your day,
Right.
but just in those moments when you are able to choose your sensory environment, maybe that's a good time to
Mhm.
take literally just a moment to check in and make a decision that can be helpful, right? This
Yeah.
isn't fancier than that.
No, no,
Yeah.
not at all. And with headphones now too,
Yeah.
it really does put some power back into
Yeah.
your hands. You do
Mhm.
get to choose. I am very sensory sensitive. I cannot leave my
Yeah.
house without my headphones. If somebody
Mhm.
is chewing gum on the tram, I will
Mhm.
need to exit that tram. I
Yeah.
I need my headphones with me, and unknowingly, I have been doing exactly what you're describing. If something has caused some sort of a trigger, if I'm having a reaction, I know that I need something heavy. I know that
Yeah.
I have a playlist, and I go for
Mm.
that, and I blast it,
Yeah.
and I work it out, and I it feels like it leaves my body,
Yeah.
and then I don't want that music anymore. I
Yes,
want something
because your
else.
state has changed.
My state
Right.
has changed. And so I seek out the music that
Yeah.
matches my mood, matches my inner
Mhm.
feels,
Yeah.
and that feels the best.
Mhm. Yeah. Right? The answer to what do I need at the end of the day may not always be soothing spa music, right?
N
It
Almost
may
never
be
is.
for me too, right? It may be, "Oh, I need to get something out first.
Mhm.
I need to feel matched in where I'm at. I need to
Yes.
give a big shake and expel all this energy that I've been holding,
Yeah.
and then I can breathe. And then I need silence. Then I don't want music at all after that, maybe."
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
Totally. Wow, what a beautiful way to get to know yourself better.
yeah. Mhm. Mhm.
So what we've
Yes.
learned today is music therapy is not shaking a tambourine in front of a therapist and saying and singing
Yeah.
awkwardly in front of them, because that's always what I thought it was, is I'd have to be
Yeah.
singing or playing an instrument and be awkward, and I'm like, that doesn't sound like therapy to me. It sounds like torture.
And to be fair, there's plenty of playing live music too, if that's a direction that's helpful,
Sure.
right? And there's ways to help a person make that not awkward and to get into it in a way that feels natural, right? Like there's I happen to spend a lot of time, especially because I work online, with recorded music and with listening. But yeah, there actually I mean, there's lots of great ways to use instruments, and I play instruments for myself, but it doesn't have to be that. There's there's music that's going to fit you.
So, Al,
Yeah.
if there was one thing that you wish someone would walk away today knowing, what would that be?
Ooh, it's hard to sum that up. I feel like we covered so many places, but I think it's got to be it's like to take music down from its pedestal. Like it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be like perfect or in some conception of what music is supposed to be like. Music is already part of your life and just use it that way. Like it's actually a lot simpler than we think and a lot more accessible.
Beautiful. Thank you. Al, if people
Oh,
want to find you to hear more of the amazing things that you talk about, if they want to work with you, how do they get in touch with you?
yeah, well, you can find me on the internet, just by searching my name, Al Hoberman, LCAT, but my website is soundbalancetherapy.com. And yeah, I'm out there on Facebook and Instagram and all those things, either at Sound Balance or at my name. And
Awesome.
hopefully more coming soon.
All right. I'll link it in the show description. Thank you
Thank you.
so much for
Thank
joining us.
you.
What an
It was
incredible
fun.
conversation this was.
Yeah. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. Thanks.